What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, and I am back with another player prop talk live stream here on the channel. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024. As always, I hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. Happy Monday to you all. Hope you had a blissful weekend. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope your player props treated you right. Hope your slips were profitable. We got some issues going on with PrizePicks today. Mobile app is on the fritz. Can't seem to pull up my mobile app. They're going through some maintenance, but the looks like the desktop app is fine. Finally, just refreshed, but on my phone, just not able to get that going. It keeps redirecting me to update the app, and then when I click update the app, it just kind of freezes. So I'm gonna restart my phone, which is a universal fix all. We're gonna go over some player props today. We're gonna go over some value across the board. We're gonna use a few different resources to help us get it done, and hopefully by the end of this hour-long stream, we will have built out at least 2 slips. Feel free to put your player props or even questions in the chat. We'll get to those when we get to those. Let's move on. Hashtag blessed as we start off every single live stream here on the channel. As you know, tons of people die every day in their sleep, every night in their sleep. If you are listening or watching this, you did not. So just by default, you're blessed for not dying in your sleep. So good job. Not too many things better than waking up, unless you decide to wake up and play on Better. If you have not yet signed up for Better Fantasy, use that QR code to do so. Get a first-time deposit match up to $250. Better is a pretty cool site. They have weekly promos, good payouts. Just a lot of things that are attractive. So if you want a separate pick'em site to play on outside of Underdog and PrizePicks, Better is a good one for you. We're going to be using the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer to help us locate value across the industry today. This thing is awesome. It allows us to look into all the plus EV plays, not just on PrizePicks, but on Underdog, Better, Dabble, Flip, HOTSTREAK, Parlay Play. Wherever you play, we can find something for you. And we're also going to use props.cash to help us locate deeper dives, I guess, or where to deep dive onto certain plays. What makes a play good? We can look at game logs, BVP, past 10, past 5, historical data, all sorts of stuff using props.cash. 25% off your first month using props.cash. Also 30% off your first month on OddsJam. Use my promo code. Make a little money, save a little money. It's all good. 10-day pass over in the Discord, $9.99, $1 a day. You are well up. If you invested $10 10 days ago, you have made that money back and then some. Consider signing up for the Discord, $9.99 for a 10-day pass. Just float on over there, shoot me a DM, and I'll get you hooked up today, and you can start playing these plays and slips that I already put in the Discord. It's that easy. Let's pull up the OddsJam Optimizer. Let's get that on the screen. What's going on, Philip? What's going on, Paul? Hope you guys are off to a good start today. Yeah, weekend was good. Weekend was busy working, but still had time to put in slips. Almost hit a nice 7 pick on Better. I did a nice little ladder, a 3 pick, a 5 pick, and a 7 pick. And wouldn't you know, the pick that didn't hit was in the 3 pick. So that was out. That pick was in all 3 slips. But there was a chance, had I picked three different players from that group of 7 that 3 pick would have hit. So I would have got my 5x on that. I still would have only gotten, you know, the 2x on the 5 pick. So close to the 7 pick. So I missed it by 1. That was fun. I've been trying to hit that 3, 5, and 7 ladder on BETR for about a month now. I've gotten really close, just 1 pick away. It's hard. It's hard to hit a 6 pick on PrizePicks. It's even harder to hit a 7 pick on BETR. So, but the payout is nice. A little 30x payout right there. All right, so we got the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer pulled up, and we have access to the PrizePicks dashboard. Finally, it was out of commission for most of the morning, so we're up and running. What's up, Vu? Good morning. So we got PrizePicks pulled up. We got the optimizer pulled up. A lot of value on PrizePicks right now. A lot of value, actually, a lot more than we're used to seeing at this time. Underdog should offer some good value as well. Underdog typically offers really good value in the morning. It's kind of where I defer to in the morning when PrizePicks is kind of slacking. We have Judge over, McMahon under, Tomato under, Goldsmith under, Art Fart under, Staven under. A lot of esports plays, not as many green plays, few gold plays. Like that Vladdy over breakout prop. And man, get out of my face. Dalton Varsho, Darton. I'm just making people's names up for them. Dalton Varsho over. I think you could play these two in the same slip because it doesn't positively correlate. I don't think underdog would decrease your payout if these both were like in favor of, like if they correlated, like Vladdy over hits, runs, and RBIs could correlate with Varsho hitter fantasy score, right? Because if, let's say, Vladdy got on base and Varsho hits him, you know, drives him in, that counts for both their scores. But if Vladdy strikes out, it really doesn't positively correlate with Varsho. So you might be able to play both of those in the same slip. We might give it a shot. And then over on BETR, all right, we got Joey Fart up there. Played for the Pirates now, no longer a San Francisco Giant. 5 data points on this one. You got 5 data points. Jackson Churio is emerging as a stud here in August. I got to go back and look what he's done for the full month or the full 2 weeks of August, but I feel like he's been on fire. We need to double check his numbers, but over on his hits, runs, and RBIs, Logan O'Hop over, Loperfido under. There are a lot of plays to look at here. A lot of good support for these plays. So let's head over to PrizePicks. Let's see if we can build out a PrizePicks slip. It's something we have not been able to do first thing in the morning on our live streams because the value just hasn't been there. But let's see if we can piece it together. And feel free to put your player prop suggestions in the chat if you want me to look up somebody for you, or if you have a good beat on a player and you feel like that's a good play to put in a slip, throw it in the chat and then we'll look into it. All right, so also while we're on PrizePicks, don't forget about this Israel Adesanya over 0.5 significant strikes. Now this one you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait a week. This one does not start until Saturday. But you'd like to believe that he can get you one kick, one punch in that fight. So if you play this one, you just gotta wait. That's it. Hopefully the slip put it in cleans up and you're just waiting on that one. That's a very, very fun sweat. The worst sweat is when the slip is clearly not going to be a profitable slip and PrizePicks just won't remove it from your open tab. You just got to sit there and look at that shitty slip all week. So hopefully, you know, some of these plays we talk about today, you want to put in a slip with Izzy, maximize on that free square basically. All right, so let's start this off. We have Andre Rublev over 2 breakpoints, just 1 data point on this one, but minus 200 to go over this one. So he does need 3 to get the over on this breakpoints 1. That's in consideration. We have Caston over 4.5 first map headshots. Also minus 211 to go over 3.5 on HOTSTREAK. Leo Dark under first map headshots. This one's a little better because you're getting multiple data points. And then this height, I don't know, man. These dudes replace numbers and letters and shit, man. Under first 2 map kills 32.5. That one's a strong one right there. So I think to kick things off, you got these 2 esports plays that are standing out because they have multiple data points and they have a nice discrepancy. So you can kick things off with that. If you want to play a 2-pick, you can put those in a 2-pick on PrizePicks. We're going to try to build out a at least a 5-pick, a 6-pick for sure, though. That's what we're going for here. Appreciate y'all being here on a Monday morning. Hit the like button as you come in. You got young Stexer, young Sticks. I don't know what this dude's name is. This guy over first 2 map headshots, 16. You got 2 data points, clearly the lowest line, 16.5 and 17.5. So you're getting a 0.5 to 1 point discrepancy, 1.5 discrepancy on that one. Got to be sure that these are not from the same team. Cannot correlate same team, but you can correlate same game, preferably over under. That would work best for us. We have Leadys 9 Pandas versus Movie Star Koi over first 2 map headshot 17. You can see that you have a discrepancy of 0.5 and then a discrepancy of 1. I'm going to select just so I don't forget them, but if we happen to come across something else that's better, we can actually just remove one of these plays. They're not set in stone. Bregman under fantasy score. On better, they have his hits, runs, and RBIs for the over. It is possible for players to go over hits, runs, and RBIs, but not go over fantasy score. We talk about that all the time. If you hit an RBI single, that's only 5 points. And if you do nothing else for the rest of the game, you're under, right? Even if you drove in another run, or even if you drove in another RBI, that's still just 7, you know? So there are many ways you can go over hits, runs, and RBIs and total bases, but not under fantasy score. And then we get into some of the red here. Jordan under fantasy score as well. Man, he's been on a roll. We talked about this last week after he hit that home run and how I was not going to take the under the next day on that fantasy score because I thought he was heating up. He's heating up. Would he have 2 home runs over the weekend? He's heating up, or he's hot. So I'm probably going to stay away from this cat against Taj Bradley. I don't know the BVP between Jordan and Taj. Taj can get hit up, man. Taj is not invincible. He's also capable of fanning a lot of batters. I probably have to look into that BVP and see what that matchup looks like. All right, so we do have 4 plays here on the board. They're all esports plays. They're all in pretty good spots to go or to hit their lines. A lot of esports plays. So what do y'all have? We need 2 more plays. If you got some player prop suggestions, throw them in the chat. Let's dig into them using props.cash. Otherwise, we'll have to go with some esports only plays. I mean, we technically could play these 2 plays at the very top. The only reason I haven't checked these boxes yet is the lack of support with this one. It's just it's just one data point, so really don't know where that true line should be set. If we ran with these two, we literally just played the first 6 player props that were on the board. And that would create a 6 pick. It would also give us a 2.27% chance to hit, or to a 2.27 plus EV, and then a 2.63% chance to hit. We can literally just run this as a 6 pick. Sometimes the first slip of the day is a little greasy. You can always opt to not play this slip, and we may have to make some adjustments because one of these fools got taken out. It was the Rublev. It was a tennis play. So that one got taken off the board, it looks like. Let's see if we refresh. Oh, we got tons more. Okay, so now we don't have to go so heavy on esports. All right, so let's see here. We got Pablo Lopez over 4.5 strikeouts. Man, I hope these are still on the board. Are these hot dogs or whatever the fuck? What are these, croissants? No, these are just their normal lines. I thought maybe PrizePicks was doing something to make up for the maintenance this morning, because these are super low. If we just ran down the list here, Luis Heel under 8.5. Is this for real? This cannot be for real. This is bullshit. What's going on here? What the fuck? Am I tripping there? There's no way this is real. These are demon plays. These are demon plays. Why is the odds jam optimizer giving us demon plays as real plays, as normal plays? Yeah, they're not even up on the board. This is what happens when PrizePicks does maintenance. It just throws everything off. Like, nothing on the board is real. It's just all messed up right now. Honestly, this is like the shit that PrizePicks does on the day-to-day, and like nobody cares because everybody thinks PrizePicks is the best site ever. Yeah, fuck PrizePicks right now. I'm not gonna deal with that shit right now. That's a little annoying. You undergo maintenance for 5 hours this morning for the second week in a row, and then none of the value that you have on the board is legitimate. So we just move on to Underdog, which is clearly a much better player prop site today in terms of locating value. Let's see if we can't build out a quick slip. I guess PrizePicks just doesn't want our money today. I'm cool with that. So what I like to do on Underdog is just build out a slip on my phone and then share this the link in the chat, because trying to pull up the Underdog desktop app is just too janky. They really need to make some improvements on it. I think they're working on it. All right, we got Judge over, we got McMahon under. McMahon, this game is not in Colorado, so that's the first thing I always look at when looking at Colorado Rockies props is, where's this game being played? We got this tomato. This is another one data points. This guy was on PrizePicks. Remember, he was on PrizePicks. This Kaysen at 4.5, but Underdog has him at 4. So we go over this one because it's also showing that HOTSTREAK is taking action on this one. So that gives us a total of 3 data points. We go over on this one. So that gives us 3. If you want to go for a 6x on Underdog, you can literally run these 3 in a slip. As far as I know, Underdog is the only player prop site that gives you a 6x on 3 pick. I don't know if Dabble awards you 6x payout on a 3-pick slip, but I know Jock Market used to, and that was the most appealing thing about Jock Market. And then when they removed that, Jock Market really just didn't offer a whole lot, to be honest. Just that was their big one. That was their way to compete with the other ones, and their player prop format isn't good enough alone. So I don't play on Jock Market as much. Here you got Pablo Lopez over 6 strikeouts versus the Royals. Ooh. We got Art Fart under 8.5. We can put this in here, see what that looks like. It gives us a 5-pick right there. Forget Goldschmidt. We could play the Pablo Lopez one. Over 6 strikeouts today versus the Royals. Let's look at that real quick. I honestly don't like to pick on the Kansas City Royals. And maybe they're going through it right now. Maybe they're on a little slump. Maybe they're not putting up enough hits. I don't know. Maybe Pablo Lopez is going to catch them at the right time here. Pablo Lopez can give up some hits. He's capable of getting just rocked, as you can see in some of these games. His strikeouts have been pretty consistent over his last 5 and 10 games, averaging 60% in both of those time frames. He is projected for 6, but Underdog has him at 6. So the question is not whether he can get you 6. The question is, can he get you 7? Because that's exactly what he needs. Now, if this is at 5.5, you take the over on this one because it's too good to pass up. He's gotten you 7 in 3 of his last 5 games. He's gotten you 7 in 5 of his last 10. Against this same Royals team, he has gone over this line in 4 straight starts. One of those being the season, but it was at the beginning of the season. We can look at BVP versus Pablo Lopez. If there's anybody on the Royals that hits him well, doesn't look like there's anybody on this team that gives him any problems. Doesn't mean that it can't change, but as the sample size grows, with each game, these numbers start to mean more. The bigger the sample size, the better. Obviously, we've seen players, have terrible history against a pitcher, but hit a home run, and for that particular day, they defied the odds. But historically, we're looking at some pretty bad numbers here versus Lopez. The only player that's given him any kind of issue is Michael Garcia. Still has a 43% strikeout rate. So even though this dude is hitting them well, he's striking out in 7 plate appearances. It's not a lot of strikeouts. The percentage seems like he's just terrible, but that's roughly 3 strikeouts, I think. That adds up to about 3 strikeouts. But if that extrapolate that, right, and say, okay, according to these numbers, if he's going to average a 43 strikeout rate when his plate appearances get the 21 and 30, that's pretty bad. So most of these guys are striking out at a high clip versus Lopez. In fact, there's not one player on this team that has a below 20% strikeout rate versus Lopez. I'm going to throw him in there just because I like what I see from Pablo Lopez. It's a little scary taking the over on strikeouts for players just because, just like any other player prop, this shit can just fall apart. The wheels can fall off. But that's why we go with the research. That's why we try to back everything up with the numbers. And we move on. Don't want to spend too much time overthinking something, especially when the history is just that good against a certain team. So let me go ahead and copy and paste this link into the chat. We can build out another slip on the Underdog. We can check out better. I mean, we can go to PrizePicks, see if anything has changed with those weird ass props they had up on the board. But like I said, we're going to try to build out at least 2 slips today. What's up, Travis? Okay, there's underdog on the board. And if you want to know what was in the slip, it was Judge over, McMahon under, Casson over, Art Fart under, Goldie under, and then Pablo Lopez over strikeouts. That's what we rolled with for our very first slip today. And we're going to head back over to PrizePicks. So what was happening on PrizePicks was they had all their demon props as normal lines, but you couldn't play them. They were showing as normal lines. So you had these ridiculously high plus EV plays that you could not play. And they just did 5 hours worth of maintenance on the website. So it really just kind of messed everything up. And as you can see, all those plays got removed and we're back to normal lines like Jordan under. That's a normal line. So that was just a glitch in the system. I don't know if people got away with playing the unders on those demon plays. I'm sure PrizePicks is going to cancel those slips. Don't think you can get over on PrizePicks. They're not fucking around. All right. So we have Jordan under his fantasy score. We have Nico under his first 2 map kills. We were looking at this Leo Dark one earlier. We like that one. I think the other we're looking at was this height. And then we saw this youngster. Every time I see this name, I think Gangstar. That's a super old school rapper, Gangstar. I don't know if anybody remembers Gangstar. 16 and a half, 17 and a half. We can put that one in for now to see what it looks like. I really would like some more green squares in this bitch. We got 2 Astros going on. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this matchup between the Astros and Taj Bradley, because we're seeing some unders on these Houston fantasy scores. All right, so Taj Bradley coming into this game for his last 5 games. Is that a mosquito? No. Over his last 5 games, he's averaging 6 strikeouts. Got him. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging 7 strikeouts. In his 2 games versus Houston, none of them this season, not the best. 6 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts, averaging 5. He is projected for 6.4. When you look at the odds across the industry, you got 7 books that like this play, or you got 7 books that are taking action on this play. Pinnacle giving you plus odds. However, Caesars, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, and Fanatics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 books giving you unders, with Pinnacle being the only book that likes the over. So strikeouts don't look like they're going to get crazy today. In terms of his earned runs, man, he is only projected to give up 2 earned runs. I mean, 1 earned run seems insane, but he's not projected to go over 2.5. So it's 2 or lower. That does make sense. So if you have Taj Bradley, who even though is not who's not projecting well for a ton of strikeouts, if he's not projecting for a lot of earned runs, you really can't score a lot of fantasy points without driving in runs. I mean, there are only so many hits you can accumulate because those hits end up in outs at some point, right? Like, even if Jordan gets a hit, Bregman comes up and grounds out or hits into a double play, inning over. If it's that kind of game, then it feels like runs are going to be at a minimum. On the other side, Framber is projected to give up less than 2.5. I mean, way under He's projected like minus 175. I mean, if this is one of those 2-to-1 games, you're really not going to see a lot of fireworks. I mean, you can go over fantasy score if you're still in paces. Like if Jordan hits a single and then steals second, that's 7 fantasy points. And if he happens to score a run, that's 9. So he pushes. But I mean, walks are less points than a single. So if Taj goes out there and walks batters, they're only 2 points each. Framber strikeouts, I think they're at 6.5. His strikeouts have been insane, man. Last 5 he's over in 3, but with 10, so he's averaging 8 strikeouts. In his last 10 he's over in 4, but in 3 of those games he's got you 10 strikeouts, so he's averaging 6. And in those games, I mean, there are games where he's getting blown up. I mean, San Fran, New York, they put it on his ass. But in those 2 games, he had no strikeouts against San Fran. He had 7 against, he had 5 against New York. So yeah, it looks like in the games where he's getting lit up, he's not lasting. And he's just not getting strikeouts. But in these 3 games where he got you 10, Miami, LA, and Pittsburgh, 1 earned run, 0 earned runs. He gave up 4 against Pittsburgh. He went 7 innings. He went a little over 6, and he went exactly 6. So in the games where he's getting you high strikeouts, keeping the runs down, he's getting you at least 6 innings. In the games where he's getting touched up a little bit, he's not even getting you into the 5th. But if this is one of those 1-1 games or 2-1 games, or it's tied at the end of the game and they got to go to extra innings, like those games don't really yield a lot of fantasy points. So maybe there is some logic to going under on some of these dudes, but that's the second Astro we've seen under fantasy. Bregman and Jordan both projected to go under fantasy score. Yeah, PrizePicks not giving us a whole lot to work with. What's good, T? What's up, fellas? Gangstar. Oh, they were a group? Who am I thinking of, man? Who am I thinking of? Did one of them go solo? I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. I had a friend growing up. He would always put me on to like these rappers that I didn't know anything about. Yeah, I must have gotten confused. Oh, it was a duo. You're right. Hold on. Maybe it's one of the guys. Maybe it's one of the guys that I'm picturing like his picturing his face. Yeah, it was Guru. I thought he was Gangsta. I thought like he was the group. My bad. Yeah. I'm seeing his face. Yeah. I was in the ballpark. All right. Bam, he went solo for a while. Nailed it. All right. So we're trying to build out a slip on PrizePicks. This is what we got so far. It's tough. We got Youngstar, Height, Leo, Dirk, Nico. These are all esports plays. They're all grading out really well. I mean, we can go under on this Jordan sitting at 9 fantasy score. We were just looking at the pitchers, but we didn't really look at Jordan. We should have looked at Jordan. So let's look at BVP versus Jordan in the last 5-10 games. Damn. Over his last 5 games, Jordan is averaging 5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and he has like 3 home runs in this. Fuck. 5 home runs. He's basically averaging a home run per game. Yeah, he had 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Over his last 10 games, we talked about this. This is when we talked about him. It was on this day he hits a home run, right? And then on this day, the odds were against him to go over hits, runs, and RBIs. And I said, he might be starting to heat up. I'm going to stay away from him. And he goes back-to-back jacks. Nothing against Boston, but then that's it. So this is the start, or this could be like in the midst of his like hot streak. So when we look at his home run odds, plus 300, minus 400, hits, runs, and RBIs, projected to go over. There's some juice to the under, but his numbers against Taj Bradley, there really isn't anything here. He's only had 2 plate appearances against Taj Bradley. In fact, the only 2 Astros that have gotten a hit against Bradley are Bregman and Dubon. Altuve has 2 plate appearances. He struck out both times. Yordan has nothing. So the good thing is that Yordan is not striking out. Both of the plate appearances he has resulted in him hitting the ball, just not getting on base. These strikeout numbers look really bad, but you got to look at the sample size too. So 50% strikeout rate in 2 plate appearances isn't that bad. 50% strikeout rate over 30 plate appearances, that's where you start to question, like, man, maybe this guy just sucks when he faces his pitcher. But the sample size really isn't there. So then we look to Yordan versus righty. So lefty-righty matchup, traditionally good split for lefties. Against righties this season, he's driven in 19 homers, 15 doubles, 40 singles. Much better average against lefties, but he also has almost 50% fewer plate appearances, so that'll automatically drive the average up. Not as much power. So if you're going for power, which is the quickest way to go over fantasy score, obviously if you hit a home run, you're over. If you hit a triple, that's 10 points. If you hit a double, that's 5. You're halfway there. Bradley versus lefties. On the year, he is not giving up much. So against lefties, 5 homers, 10 doubles, and almost 200 plate appearances. And against righties, even better, sub 200 batting average, 7 homers, 19 singles, and 2 doubles. Compare these to last season. Against lefties last season, he kept that batting average down. He limited the power against lefties, and most of that power was on the opposite side versus righties. Looking at this season, he's doing a much better job of keeping both averages down and the home runs down as well. So we looked at the earned runs for each pitcher, and it doesn't look, based off the odds, like Framber or Taj is going to give up more than 2 earned runs today. Low scoring game. Maybe it is a game you want to stay away from, or maybe you do want to take the under on Yordan. If you're a believer in the hot streaks, then maybe you're not touching that one. He might be too hot to handle right now. I might just back off that one. So we need 2 more plays. If you guys have 2 suggestions for player props to add to this esports slip that we have built out so far, let me know. We still have Israel Adesanya's promo, that 0.5 significant strikes. That will make it number 5. But if you have 2 plays you want to dig into, throw them in the chat. Let's do it. Take that underdog link off the board. We're done with that one. Man, this is incredible. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to get those 4 esports plays on the board and then refresh. I'm going to refresh this optimizer and see if anything has been added. Nothing. Nothing. Bregman could be in play. I know Jordan is grading out better in terms of EV, but you know, Jordan's been on a run. Listen, Alex Bregman has been on a run as well. So like the two hottest hitters for the Astros are both projected to go under their Altuve. This whole fucking team, man. I called them old last week. Maybe like the universe like put that in their head or something. 7 hits, runs, and RBI. I mean, playing Boston in Fenway is a good matchup. I mean, it's a hitter-friendly ballpark. I mean, there are a lot. The dimensions of that outfield are not like pitcher-friendly at all. It's not Coors Field, but it's definitely not the Oakland Coliseum either. It's somewhere in between. It's more favorable to hitters than it is pitchers. The Green Monster is hittable. You can beat the Green Monster. So yeah, that series in Boston really got Bregman going. I mean, he 17 hits, runs, and RBIs in 3 games versus Boston. It's insane. His numbers against Taj Bradley, he has 1 hit and it was a home run. So man, it's scary to take the under on these dudes. I mean, they're the only 2 plays I'm seeing on the optimizer right now. I'm not really feeling them. I'm not gonna play these unders for any of these Astros players. Kind of sucks because we need a couple more plays. What's up, Seaver? We got Vladdy bases, and then we have to Oscar over his runs and RBIs. All right, whichever game is first. So let's look up to Oscar. Oh wow, this makes Bregman's last 10 games look like nothing. That's impressive. All right, so numbers against Milwaukee. He's 3 for 9, so 33%. Last 5, 100% hit rate. Last 10, 90% hit rate. Projected for 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Numbers against Freddie Peralta. He has a single in just 2 plate appearances. So you just need more sample size to pay attention to BVP. BVP, I think anything under 10 plate appearances is just like irrelevant unless a player has 5 plate appearances with 5 home runs and 10 RB, something crazy like that, where it's hard to ignore that. But it does take a few games to develop that BVP. This is not enough sample size, so we got to look at the RHP versus Teoscar. 15 homers, 19 doubles, 1 triple, 52 singles in 360 plus plate appearances, batting .264. And then we flip it and look at Peralta versus right-handed bats. Both of these averages are really low. 237, it's not a high average at all. I don't know why these are green. 12 homers against right-handed hitters, 7 doubles, 36 singles. This order 1 through 3. I mean, if this is the first 3 batters in his lineup, pretty strong. There's some strikeout potential in there with Ohtani and Teoscar, but you can really knock this hits, runs, and RBIs prop out at one. I mean, with 1 at bat. If Ohtani gets on base, you have Teoscar drive him in there. He's over already. If Teoscar gets on and Freeman drives Teoscar in, he's over already. Got to hit and then run. Easy. And then in terms of odds, you have two books. I like the under on this one, minus 130, minus 130. Let's look at was Vladdy over bases. Vladdy over strikeouts too. On BETR, he had a strikeout prop of 0.5. No history against Davis Daniel. Is it the first time he's facing his team for the first time? But against righties, Vladdy 318. Oh man, that's a strong line against righties, right? So let's look at his numbers: 17 homers, 24 doubles, 1 triple against righties. Davis Daniel against right-handed bats like Vladdy, just 50 plate appearances, but he's allowing a 354 batting average, 11 singles, 4 doubles, and 2 homers. This guy's getting rocked, man. I think we need to look at him on the other side a little deeper because we don't have a BVP to look at. So in his last 5 games, he's gone over 3.5 strikeouts in 3 games. In his last 10, well, he doesn't have 10 games to look at. He only has 8. In his last 8 games, he's gone over this in 50%. He's projected today to give up 3 earned runs. And he is projected today to go, well, he doesn't even have a pitching outs line. But based off what we're seeing here, he's going on the average 5 innings, but only because this is at 24. If this was at 15 or 16, then this average would be closer to 14. Because you got some really low out games in there. He should be in there for at least 4 innings, you would think. And that would be maybe 2 plate appearances against Vladdy. Okay. So we got Vladdy and Teoscar over. Where is that tab? All right. So let's pull up PrizePicks. We have Vladdy and Teoscar. So we have Teoscar over here, over here. Man, I thought we had his fantasy score over on Underdog. If his fantasy score is over on Underdog, I might like his fantasy score on PrizePicks more than his hits, runs, and RBIs. I don't see it. All right. All right. So we have Pablo Lopez under fantasy score. We played the over on his strikeouts on Underdog. So I'm probably not going to touch this one on PrizePicks. Framber, we just talked about this game being a super low scoring game. Super low scoring games are really good for pitchers. You typically do see stronger strikeout numbers. And if they're not giving up a ton of earned runs, they typically last longer. So you could be looking at a 7-8 inning game for Framber. If he goes 8 innings, he gets you 6 strikeouts. That's 24 plus 18. That's 42 fantasy points. He gets the quality start. That's 46. If he does give up 2 earned runs, that's 40. There's Jordan again. So yeah, the only plays they added. So here's Vladdy under his fantasy score. Bello under strikeouts. Like, these are all just like shit plays. Man, PrizePicks sucks. At least from a value standpoint. There are plenty of plays to play on PrizePicks, honestly. There are tons of plays. This Leo Dark just got bumped. So I gotta be honest with y'all. I don't want to make a slip on PrizePicks. I'm not feeling any of these plays. There's just no value. I hate the fact that PrizePicks started off the day under maintenance and like everything got thrown off. So let's look at BETR. I'm going to build out a slip on BETR. PrizePicks is slowly losing my respect. I'm not going to lie, man. PrizePicks is becoming one of my least favorite places to play. This is not 2021 anymore, where they were the only pick'em site on the market. There are way too many other places to play that offer good value than to be wasting time trying to mess with PrizePicks and all their shenanigans. So over on BETR, you got Taj Bradley under 5.5 hits. This correlates really well with that low game total that we're looking at. This correlates well with his earned runs. If he's not projected to go over earned runs, it's hard to go over earned runs and go, you know, and get hit up a lot. All right. So, I mean, you would think that if the runs are down, you typically don't see players like pitchers give up a ton of hits. Like, they're striking batters out or they're keeping the ball in the park. Like, so that's one to look at. I like this Judge over basis because we played the over his fantasy score on underdog. So I like those two together on different sites. So I think the first play we're going to put in here is this Aaron Judge over total bases. You also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books that like this one. Unfortunately, we cannot play the Verdugo and Judge in the same lineup because, well, I say that, but let me confirm it because these do correlate. Yeah. They don't directly correlate because it's possible for him to score a run without Judge. They don't need to help each other out, but if they happen to be batting within like two batters of each other, you know, then maybe. Judge hits before Verdugo anyway, so I don't think Judge will be the one driving him in. Be like Volpe, unless Volpe leads off. Maybe Chisholm might be the one to drive Verdugo in. They bat like in the middle of that order. Judge is at the top, so even if Judge hits a double, Verdugo's not on base when he does it, so Verdugo's not scoring a run. So it's weird that you can't correlate these two, but we move on. Vinny Pasquantino over his 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. There's 6 data points right there. This one is against Pablo Lopez. We took the over Pablo Lopez strikeout, so I kind of feel weird going on the other side and playing a hitter from the other team because we want him to get his strikeouts. See, here's Stanton. We can't play these in the same lineup. Man, that's a lot of Yankee support today. I'm going to put the Taj Bradley in there. Under his hits. All right. So that gives us 2 plays. The Judge to get taken off the board. Yep. So Aaron Judge is no longer on the board. We got his fantasy score locked in on underdog. I hope he's playing today. I hate when that happens. We get the scratch and the whole slip is kind of thrown off. All right, so we just replaced Judge with Jackson Cheerios. He plays for the Brewers. Over on BETR, Teoscar has a hits, runs, and RBIs prop, and he has a fantasy score prop. All right. You got Will Smith under. That's 5 data points. So we got Bregman going under his fantasy score, but he's over hits, runs, and RBIs on better. So can't play him in the same lineup with Taj. But if you want to play separate slips, I mean, we could play these, I think, because they don't directly correlate, so they don't really help each other out. But it's stupid to play under hits for Taj Bradley and over hits for Bregman. So that it doesn't make sense to do that in the same slip. Chris Sale under 4.5 hits versus the Giants. Man, that seems really low. That seems really low. There's Aaron Judge right there. Why can't we play Aaron Judge? He got taken off the board on my phone. It literally just removed him, but he's still showing. His hits, runs, and RBIs got bumped up to 2.5, and his bases, they're no longer on the board. So we have to ignore that. Chris Sale under 4.5 hits. It seems a little low. Even for the matchup against the Giants. But we talk about this all the time. We see pitchers with like 2.5 strikeout props and stuff like that, and we're thinking it's way too low. Of course you can do that. They're low for a reason. So this is low for a reason. But Chris Sale got hit up, man. Back-to-back games. Back-to-back games. Or back-to-back starts. He has allowed 5 or more hits in 5 and over, about 50% of his last 10, and then his last 5. I don't know about that one, man. No, I'll skip that one. So because we can't play Judge, we can look to Verdugo over runs. So we can't play Judge bases. Now we can play Verdugo. Blake Snell over 7.5 strikeouts. That one might be in play. This is not the same Atlanta Braves team. This is not the team of last year. These dudes are striking out at a 24% rate to left-handed pitching. Back-to-back games for Blake Snell crushing this line. His last start was last season. It's not last season anymore. He is projected for 7 strikeouts. He does need 8. 8 is a big number, but DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, Fanatics, FanDuel, and Pinnacle all like the over on this one. 24% strikeout rate. He's averaging 1.29 strikeouts per inning. 50%, 20%, 29%, 100%, 25%. The only batter in this lineup that has hit him well for average and looks like power is Whit Merrifield. 24% strikeout rate, back-to-back games of 8+. Lot of strikeouts here. Let's add Blake Snell to this slip. Let's add Blake Snell. All right, so that gives us 4. We need one more to make it a 5. Davis Daniel. So Davis Daniel over 2.5 earned runs. We just talked about Vladdy going over bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 data points that like the over on this one. If you think the Blue Jays get after this dude, now keep in mind he doesn't really pitch deep into games. It's possible he pitches less than 5 innings, so he would have to get this done in 5 innings. Like if he has a bad first inning, this probably happens in first inning. But he, based off his game logs, he wasn't getting like 6-7 innings, per start. So It just will have to be like he's on a time crunch here. He has to get hit, and he has to get hit early and often to go over this line. But I like the way that correlates with Vladdy's, hits, runs, and RBIs. If you wanted to play the over on that one, then you're getting support showing that this opposing pitcher is going to get hit up a little bit. So we have this one that's in play. Connor Wong, Tyler Mahle over 4.5 strikeouts versus Boston in Fenway. Nah, let's go with this Davis. Let's go with this Davis Daniel play. That's our 5 pick. All right, I'm gonna share that in the chat, and that's a 5 pick. So we built out a 5 pick on BETR. We built out a 6 pick on Underdog. Sorry if you're a PrizePicks loyalist. They just they're not on top of their game today. I'm sure some value will open up later in the afternoon, and I'll post something in the Discord. But I didn't really like anything I saw on PrizePicks today. All right, there's BETR. Let me put this in the chat for y'all. Yeah, man, JR, I wish I had access to sport. The closest we have is Fliff, and I've been playing a little bit on Fliff, like really small stuff. Like I've been playing their little Fliff coins, just trying to get a feel for some of these single line bets, like the tennis, the tennis matchups, or a few of these soccer games and stuff like that. But Fliff is the closest we have to a sports book. Fliff is weird because you play with Fliff cash and coins, and then if you accumulate a certain amount of coins, you can convert that into Fliff cash, and then you can like convert the Fliff cash to USD, and then you can make a withdrawal. It's super confusing, but I guess that's their way around like all the red tape. But I've been trying to play a little bit more on Fliff just to get a better feel for it. Seaver says Bellinger over fantasy. Travis says I prefer BETR. I want a 3-pick boosted. You want to boost it last night? Nice. It was 2 boosted plus 2 standard prop. Okay, yeah. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Mix it up a little bit. I can't wait till BETR has a desktop app. Or if I could just figure out how to have my phone show on my laptop. I tried to mirror it. It didn't work. So, all right. So there's BETR. We got a BETR and a PrizePicks slip built out. If you're just joining the stream, appreciate y'all being here. Got about 5 minutes left. After talking all that shit about PrizePicks, we'll go back and see what's on the board. I may not agree. I may not like the way PrizePicks is doing things, but I'm not opposed to making money on PrizePicks. So if we find value on PrizePicks, I'm fine with that. But I'm definitely not going to force plays in there just because it's PrizePicks. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like eating at the same shitty restaurant just because it's a chain or it's a national brand or something. It's like that terrible food. Why do you keep going back? Brandon Pfaadt under his fantasy score versus the Rockies. One thing we didn't do today was look at the sports betting tab and see if there's anything that's floating around that we can add to a slip. No Olympic basketball today. That was fun. Very excited about the NBA season this year. I played a little bit of preseason football yesterday. I didn't share the slip with anybody because I wasn't real confident in it. And there was not a lot of books taking action on, or not a lot of pick'em sites taking action on the preseason, unfortunately. But just some light research, just kind of figuring out like it was Stetson Bennett, in LA, Stidham in Denver, Bo Nix, like the starters. Whoever starts the game really isn't going to get a lot of run, honestly. Whoever starts these games is the backup, right? Except for Anthony Richardson. He played yesterday, but I took the under on his passing yards at 41. Like, he was in there for 3 plays. I'm like, there's no way that the Colts are going to run this dude out after tearing out his shoulder last year, have it happen again in the preseason. He's out there for one reason and one reason only. Number one is to appease the fans who want to see him. And I guess like secondary, just to see how he looks in a few different plays and get his ass out of there. That's all he's there to do. He had like 5 plays. So you just take the unders on some of these dudes and you just go over on these backup quarterbacks who are going to see 3/4 of action. Go under on running back yards, rushing yards, because you got 7, 8 freaking running backs that are all like trying to fight for the last roster spot. They're not giving 10, 15 carries to every running back. Like even like Evan Hull in Indy, who saw 8 carries. He had 16 yards on 8 carries. They're not there to like break off big runs. They're there to like, can the O-line block? Does everybody know their assignment? It's just like a dress rehearsal. Just take unders on some of these plays. That's what I did, and I missed it by 1. I missed out on 1 play. So I might run it. I might run a preseason slip the next set of games just to like see if I can get them all right. But I just went with unders. It just made sense to go with unders. Michael Massey under 1.5 player bases, and then Logan O'Hop under 1.5 player bases. These are the only 2 props that are showing on the sports betting tab. These are considered profitable plays. If you want to throw these into an underdog slip along with 3 other plays, 4 other plays, or if you want to put 1 other play with these 2 and make a 3 pick on underdog, you can go for that 6x. All right, we got a few more minutes here on the chat. All right, so if you wanted to run a 6 pick on PrizePicks, under Pablo Lopez, under Chris Sale, under Framber, under Jordan, Nico, and under Fat. I'm not going to play these fantasy scores only because we took the over strikeouts for Lopez and we took the over strikeouts for Chris Sale on BETR. Those 2 negatively correlate. But if you want to build out a slip and take advantage of some of these unders, it is possible for pitchers to go under fantasy score, over strikeouts if they give up, a few runs. But those margins get really, really thin. I don't really like flirting with that. Hopefully some more value opens up later in the day for us. I'll be sure to put a slip out in Discord. I don't think I'm going to use Adesanya play today. I think I'm going to hold off on that. We have a full week to play this, so whatever value opens up the next few days, that's what we'll take advantage of. Something that we could try to do, I don't know, maybe go under Adesanya 100 significant strikes, go over his promo, and kind of play both sides to that. So this is the preseason slip that I put together yesterday. I did go over Trey Lance. I didn't think he'd go for that many yards. I thought maybe 125, 130, something like that. Trey Lance is a different situation because he got drafted so high, and anytime a quarterback gets drafted that high and hasn't hit his like stride yet, there's a coaching staff out there that thinks they can turn it around, and that coaching staff is in Dallas, so they're gonna give this dude every single opportunity to like redeem himself. So preseason is his Super Bowl. So I think we just see him throw the shit out the ball or pass for a ton of yards. I expect his passing yard prop next game to be like 150. At Cooper Rush was not going to be the guy to get in there and do this. They already know what they have in Cooper Rush. They're still trying to figure out who Trey Lance really is. Snoop Connor, Deuce Vaughn, both of these dudes fighting for, you know, roster spots, honestly. Maybe Deuce Vaughn makes the team, but he's not a starter. I don't think he's starting this season. Dallas's backfield is messed up. You got Zeke, and then you got a bunch of dudes. But anyway, you got like 6-7 running backs on this roster. They're all getting playing time. There's no way one of them like goes over. Richardson goes under passing yards. Stetson Bennett was the other one I mentioned in terms of just getting the majority of the snaps. And then Evan Hull. Evan Hull messed it up. I took the over on his rushing yards just because the running back situation in Indy is not, well, the backup running back situation is still kind of like up for grabs. So I thought they'd give him a little bit more run, but it looks like unders are the way to go for a lot of the preseason, except for quarterbacks. If you know the quarterback is going to get the majority of the snaps, I think you have to dig into that team a little bit and just figure out like, you know, the quarterback situation. It does require a little bit of research, but outside of the quarterbacks who are going to get the snaps, they're the ones touching the ball the most. You can go under some of these receivers and running backs. There's just too many names on that roster that are trying to like fight for playing time. It's hard to give them all 6-7, you know, carries or throw the ball 8 times to 5 different receivers. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So I might have to run something back like this, go all unders or figure out, but we almost hit it. Almost hit it for a 6X on PrizePicks. All right. Unless we got any questions, any last minute questions, player prop inquiries. Did somebody ask a question in the chat that I didn't see? What's up, Jesus? What's up, Rosalie? Yeah, your Adamas and Schwarber helped us get that 6X. You weren't on the stream the next day, but I gave you mad props for helping us build that slip out. Justin, I'm adding SH. Justin Holiday has had a strikeout streak since his beginning of the season. If I'm not mistaken, been cashing that. He's not playing today. The Orioles. Oh, the rookie? Yeah. Something to look at tomorrow or whenever they're on the slate. We're trying to build out a PrizePicks slip, Rosalie. Just with the maintenance going on PrizePicks, and then just the value just not there. Really not finding a whole lot outside some fantasy scores that we already took the over on strikeouts for these dudes. I don't want to play under on fantasy score. Last look at PrizePicks one more time, just to make sure. Nico, did we have Nico in the slip? Anyway, if when I post something for PrizePicks, I'll share it in the Discord with everybody, so that way you can see it and you can tell it if you want. But we did build out 2 slips today. We built out a slip on Underdog. We built out a slip on BETR. We found some really good value on both of those sites. I think my favorite play that we didn't get a chance to play was the over on Aaron Judge total bases. We tried to play that on better and they took it off the board. Basically, as soon as we put it in, they took it off the board. So you can still go over Judge. Oh, we got his did they just bump his fantasy score? Yeah, so we got Aaron Judge over 11 hitter fantasy score. Underdog bumped it up to 11.5. So we got some good value there. Yeah. We didn't look at any other plays. Dabble or parlay play. If you want to take a look at Dabble, if you play on Dabble, we'll take a look at some value real quick. All right, you got Sonny Gray under 6.5 strikeouts. Pablo Lopez under 2. So this is what concerns me. Going under on Pablo Lopez fantasy score on PrizePicks, but then you got the under on his 2.5 earned runs, saying that he's going to give up no more than 2. We got the over on his strikeouts, which was grading out well. So strikeouts 6. If he gets you 7, that's 21 fantasy points. If he gives up 2 earned runs, that's 15. He goes 6 innings. That's a quality start. That's 19. Plus the 18, that's 37 fantasy points at minimum. Tosh Bradley, we took the under on his hits on better as well at 5.5. This looks like it's a low scoring game on between the Astros and Tampa. Both pitchers, Framber and Bradley, projected to not give up more than 2 earned runs. Aaron Judge, if you want to play Aaron Judge total base prop, you can find it on Dabble. We tried to play it on better. It didn't last long. See, here's Framber over 6.5 strikeouts. So Framber gets you 7 strikeouts. This guy's going 7 innings. They're not pulling out the game. This guy goes 7 innings, 21 points, gets you 7 strikeouts. That's 42 points. He gives up 2 earned runs. That's 36 points. Quality start bonus. That's 40 points. A lot of Yankees props are going over. So we had Judge both over his fantasy total bases, Giancarlo Stanton over runs, Verdugo over runs. So this is over on Dabble. If you dabble on Dabble, there you go. If you play on Parlay Play, I have not played on Parlay Play in a while. But here you go. Over singles for Yoshida, under strikeouts for Abbott, over outs for Fat, over 1.5 hits for Jarren Duran. I do like looking at other pick'em sites, even if I don't play on them, because if I start to see a trend, then I can look for that person's fantasy score on another site. So like Jarren Duran over 1.5 hits, so 2 hits. If that's 2 singles, that's 6 points. At the minimum, that's 6 points. If one of those is a double, that's 8 points. So you're looking at an average of like 7 points for his hits. If he scores a run, that's 9 points. If he drives in a run, that's 11 fantasy points. So you can kind of get a feel by looking at other pick'em sites and then try to go find a fantasy score on another pick'em site. And that's how you can use these other lines, even if you don't play on these sites. So Chris Sale over 18.5 pitching outs that's 19 fantasy points right there. We like the over on his strikeouts. I think it was set to 7.5, right? Who needs 8? That's 24 plus 19. What is that? 43 points. Here's another one. Bobby Witt over hits. So if you see something on another pick'em site, even if you don't play there, try to find a prop that correlates well and try to dig into that. Sleeper, anybody play on Sleeper? Want to take a look at some value on Sleeper? So you got Kershaw under, Teoscar under hits, and damn, under hits, under 0.5 hits. Really? LeMahieu over runs. That's a third Yankee that we've seen go over runs. So just right there. Who's pitching for the Chicago Cubs? Oh, it's White Sox, not Cubs. Okay. Whoever's pitching for the White Sox is projected to give up at least 3 earned runs. So you want to take a look at his under fantasy score, whoever that guy is. That's something you might be able to do. Here's 2 walks for the Yankees here. So he's loading the bases with runners and he's giving up runs. So I need to dig into who that guy is. Here's Judge under 2.5. They're stancing over singles. So they're stancing over RBIs. Looks like the Yankees are projected to do some damage today. Good to know. Because we do want Aaron Judge to go over his fantasy score. Knuckles, T says his demon on hits PrizePicks should smack. That's a demon on Prize. We play that shit. Who we talking about? Who we talking about, T? Demon hits. Jimenez, Bellinger, Swanson, Fry. Oh, Judge. Let's see. Where's Duran? I'm looking for Duran because Duran's projected. Duran and Witt. So look, Parlay Play had, bitch, what just happened? Parlay Play had Witt and Duran going over hits, 1.5 hits as a normal line. This is these are sets of demon plays. So Witt, demon, 1.5 hits. I did not see Jarren Duran, but we do have Judge down here. We already like the over on Judge fantasy score. We tried to play the over on Judge total bases. I didn't we weren't able to add that to a slip. Judge and Witt. Judge and Witt, both over demon hits. Maybe the slip we build out on PrizePicks is just going to be a little of this and a little of that. I mean, really not finding a ton of value. I mean, you may find value on PrizePicks. God bless. I'm not really finding the value that I want to put into a slip. Maybe we just look to build it out, with a couple of demons. We don't even need 6 plays for a demon at this, like for a full slip at this point, if we're playing demons, because that payout boost covers the, the extra picks that we don't put in there. So like putting this Nico play under first 2 map kills. And then let's see. What was this dude? Under? Yep. So with just these two, or excuse me, with just these 4 plays, 2 demons, 2 esport plays, if you went with a if you just went with a flex on this one, this is now a 16x. That's up from a 5x. If you went power on this one, you're looking at a 23.5x. But both of these are way over the typical payout that we get, right? So maybe we try to find at least one more. Brandon Fat under 7 strikeouts. Look at all that shit. Under 7 strikeouts. Minus 170 to go over 7.5. He is playing Colorado Rockies, though. That's the shit that scares me. Who mentioned Cody Bellinger? It was Seaver, right? Or Travis? I saw Cody Bellinger in here. Or maybe I didn't. All right, so we got at least 4 players. I'm comfortable putting those 4 in a slip, to be honest, just because I like the value that we're getting on Judge and Witt. And we took the over Blake Snell strikeouts on better. Over 40 fantasy points for Blake Snell. All right. Blake Snell projected to go over 7.5 strikeouts. Let's say he gets us 8. Let's say he also gets us 18 outs. So that's 24 plus 18 is 42. Let's say he gives up 2. Let's say he gives up 3 earned runs. So 42 minus 9 is 34. 33. He goes, that's 33 fantasy points. I don't think that's right. Let me redo that shit. 8 strikeouts, 24 points. He goes 18 outs, 42. Gives up 3 earned runs, minus 9. That's 33. And he goes out and gets a quality start bonus. That's 37. The Giants would have to get the win. He would have to get the win, and that would get him 43 fantasy points. Or he would have to go out there and pitch 7 innings or 20 innings, because that would give us 2 more points and maybe an extra strikeout, which he's capable of doing. 40 fantasy points feels like it's a little too high. What do y'all think? Is 40 fantasy points a little too high for Blake Snell in this matchup with the Giants, who are striking out at this matchup with the Braves, I should say, who are striking out at a 24% clip versus left-handed pitching? Blake Snell strikeouts right there. That one, we played that one already on BETR. We can play it again. We could play it on PrizePicks. It doesn't mean we can't play it again. We just played it. Or we can just go to esports play. AVN over 12.5 first 2 map headshots. All right, I'm going to put the AVN in there. Over 12.5 headshots. So here's a 5-pick. This is not the best of 5 picks. You do not have to play this. If you want to tail it, by all means. Wit over demon hits. Judge over demon hits. Nico under first 2 map kills. Height under first 2 map kills. And then AVN over first 2 map headshots. This is a 5-pick. This is a 20x. Your typical payout on a 5-pick is 10. So we can play this. If you want to add a 6-pick in there, then honestly, going Blake Snell strikeouts, I already played this on a BETR slip. That 6-pick gives us a 40x. If we went with his fantasy score, it's the same shit. 40x. $5 on this slip. All right, we finally built a PrizePicks slip out. You may not like it. It may not be to your liking. That's cool. We did the best we could with what was available to us. Feel free to pick and choose from the slips. You do not have to play all 6 of these. If you just copy and paste the link into a browser, it'll pull up the slip and you can take out who you want. You can add in who you want, but at least with that slip, you have the core that we use today. So we built out a PrizePicks, we built out a BETR, and we built out an underdog slip. And it only took us 94 minutes to do so. So we are going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all being here on a Monday afternoon. I'm off work today, so I feel good. I would feel a lot better if these slips hits and we all made a little money on a Monday. Money Monday. Let's win some profit. Let's win some slips. Let's make some profit. Let's rename this day. Let's coin it Money Monday. Money Monday. And then when we make that money, we can call Tuesday Takeout Tuesday, as in take out that money. We just start renaming every day of the week as we hit these slips and make some money. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit that like button on your way out. Consider subbing up to the channel, and don't forget to keep your turn your notifications on so you don't miss out on future live streams, like tomorrow's live stream at 9 a.m. here on the channel. I hope all of your player props respect the damn coin. And until tomorrow's Player Prop Talk live stream, Chavez is out.